It's because he divided this organization into two parts. He was not a founder. We call him a founder. He was not a founder. He was a creator. He created an organization for the first time in the history of our group that, the Imam does the religious part and the board members do everything else that is non-religious. We didn't see that before in our countries. So the board members do all the work. They work very, very hard. We have board members that are so smart, so intelligent. They come with experience, they come with knowledge, and they give all they can. I stand up here today and say, inshallah, 200 more years or more for this center to give to this community. And I stand here and salute every board member and all those young people, the intelligent women and boys and men that are helping this center, working so hard for it and for its success. I thank you all very much, and thank you again for being here. Thank you.
Doctor. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Afif. Our final recipient of the Commitment to Excellence Award is a first-class, humble person that also does not seek any recognition. He's also a member of the Board of Trustees that has served for 27 years. Many of you may know him as the basketball coach of Edsel Ford High School. Many of you may know him as the basketball coach at Edsel Ford High School, for he coached for 21 years. But I was also looking at some of his other credentials. Prior to going to Edsel, to being the coach at Edsel Ford, he was at Fordson. And at Fordson, he set the scoring record of 1,809 points, which still holds today, I believe, as far as Fordson basketball. Many of you may also know him as the Sunday school principal, where he has served for 31 years. I speak of Hajj Ibrahim Baidoun, who for over 30 years has volunteered his time as the principal of the Islamic Sunday School at the Old Center on Joy Road and at this center. And as he leaves this post, we thank him for mentoring, shaping, and sharing the basic building blocks of Islam into our children's minds. Many of us don't want to miss one Sunday morning with our families, but Hajj Ibrahim did it for 31 years. He's got a giving heart and he's got a blessed mind. Please welcome Hajj Ibrahim Baidoun. Ba'ad salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I say a word.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm truly honored and deeply humbled to receive this award. You know, I told Hajj Adnan, please, there's many, many more deserving people for this award than I. All I did was, it's all about the youth, all about our kids. I've dedicated my life to our youth. And I'll continue to dedicate my life to our youth for many more years. Hajj Ali Fayez, I'm not at your age yet, but inshallah, God willing, give me strength, and inshallah I can reach that age as well. And Hajj Afif, same thing with you. God bless you both, and to the rest of the people out there that have served this community for many years, God bless you as well. Once again, I did not expect this award. Maybe in 30 years, if I was still alive, I would have got this award, but alhamdulillah, I'm blessed, and I'm very fortunate for this award. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum.
Just to read the plaque, the Imam Hamad Zuad Surri Commitment to Excellence Award onto Hajj Ibrahim Baidoun, who has who's been volunteering his service as a Sunday school principal for over 30 years. His Sunday mornings have always been spent with our children, as he has helped to ensure that the proper building blocks of Islam are in their right place. The volunteer is commendable, but to do it for that length of time, that is a priceless gift from God. Thank you, Hajj. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum. Thank you so much.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. As we close out the program, Hajj Ali Faye has mentioned about, a pedigree of man and of people that the Islamic Center has produced and the people that it's taken. And one of those that is also with us today, somebody who carries a lot of the history with the Islamic Center, is Hajj Shafiq Musa. Hajj Shafiq Musa is someone who is synonymous with the Islamic Center, and along with him and all of those here today who we consistently see, including our religious leaders here with us today, I want to thank you personally on behalf of the community as well. As we close out, we want to thank the countless volunteers. Please give them a round of applause that made this all possible. Particularly the ladies of the ICA and the members of UNI. They're a tremendous organization that does a great amount of work that requires not only great recognition, but increased community support. We also want to thank the vendors of today, Tom Faki from Tim Hortons, Firaz Zahwe from Mountain Dip, AK Floral, Abu Ahmad Shahab from Cedars Bakery, Layla from Bint Jbel, and outside you guys will see a Elena Rose's lemonade stand where all of the purchases made will be given as donated to Sadaqah. So please make sure you visit those and give them a round of applause as well. As I close out for today, the one piece from Hajj Ali Faye's speech that meant the most to me is a phrase we hear a lot nowadays, which is, they don't make them like that anymore. And so when you hear about that from a gentleman like Ali Faye, is a leader like Hajj Afif Awad, a coach and leader like Hajj Brahim Baidoun, it is inspiring to the generation of young men and women like myself of what we want to be, of what the Islamic Center of America is about. And as I stand humbly before you, I ask that is the next 60 years that we want to build. That is the next 60 years that the Islamic Center wants to continue its traditions around. And so with that, I ask you again, be generous in your donations today. There is going to be a message as video as well commemorating our 60 years. And we want to also make sure we honor one of our distinguished guests today, Nasib Fawaz, who's with us. Thank you, Nasib, for all of your leadership and support throughout the 60 years. With that, and before, I know we've all begun eating already, but I will ask that we recite Surah Al-Fatiha on behalf of all of those who have passed, and then we'll have a salawat and end our program. Let's all read the Fatiha together if we can. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik Yawm ad-Din, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een, Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, Sirat al-Ladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. I thank you again all for attending today. Seeing this full room brings great joy to my heart and to all of those who put this together. And we welcome you again to make not only your donations and your money and your resources, but please make sure, one of the things that Sheikh Ahmad talked about is be present at the mosque. Be present at the programs. Be present during Salatul Jum'ah and Dua Tawassul on Tuesdays and Dua Kumail on Thursdays. Raise your kids through this markaz as the many of us have before you, so we can continue to celebrate the individuals that we celebrated tonight. And with that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It was the beautiful dream of an inspiring man who could not speak or understand English that gave birth to an organization that kept growing to become what is today the largest mosque in North America. This is the incredible story of an institution that is much more than a place to pray. This is the story of a community haven that holds our early memories and the echoes of childhood friendships, the place where our kids had their first ka'ak and ba'at, where many cried and laughed, a place that embraces the young and the old, Arabs and non-Arabs, Muslims and people of other faiths. This is the sanctuary where the new immigrants and the American-born came together to find comfort from the stress of life, to worship, to celebrate, to mourn, to learn, and to grow. This is the story of the Islamic Center of America. The story began in 1948 when Muslims in the Detroit area felt the need to preserve their Islamic heritage, especially for their children that had no place to connect with their religion. That year, while hosting a dinner for a minister in the Lebanese government who was visiting Southeast Michigan, they asked him to recommend a religious leader to serve the community and help with their goal. The minister suggested a name that some had already knew, Imam Muhammad Jawad Shirri. After some convincing from his friends who were already residing in the Metro Detroit area, Imam Shirri made the decision to begin his journey in America. In 1949, he traveled from Lebanon to Dearborn. However, the path was not paved with ease after arrival. Social pressures forced Imam Shirri to depart the area in 1950 for a mosque in Michigan City, Indiana, where he became more integrated in the American culture and learned the English language. Few years later, a number of the Muslim families back in Detroit who were inspired by his message formed the Islamic Center Foundation Society. A group of them immediately went to Michigan City and persuaded the Imam to return to Dearborn to lead the newly formed society. Soon after, Imam Shirri started working to make the dream he shared with the community in Metro Detroit a reality, building a mosque on Joy Road in Detroit that would be the first Muslim religious center in Michigan. Imam Shirri's commitment and efforts helped fund the Islamic Center. Trying to bring this goal to life, he made a trip to the Middle East and spoke to Egyptian President Jamal Abdel Nasser about his vision of the center in America. Abdel Nasser was so moved and inspired that he wired a check for $44,000, which helped the Islamic Center Foundation Society buy the land from Ford Motor Company. With the land secured, on November 15, 1962, the community broke ground on what was known then as the Islamic Center of Detroit. The community then came together to support the building of the mosque. In addition to a loan from the bank, many donated generously to this project. Some loaned money, and one person even pledged his house as collateral. The center opened its doors on September 20th of 1963. Families began attending the new mosque regularly, and it quickly became more than a building. It was a hub for the community. Religious services were taking place weekly. Kids were attending classes to learn the basis of the faith. Sunday breakfasts, wedding celebrations, Eid celebrations, and other social gatherings were frequent and brought people together. Being so familiar with the American culture and language, it was easy for Imam Shirri to work with many other religious groups to build a strong community of interfaith network that the center became recognized for. The Women's Auxiliary Club worked relentlessly, connecting with community members to donate, distributing gifts to thousands of children on Eid, and began highlight fundraising efforts like bake sales. The youth, who were always the inspiration for the center, were very involved from the early days. They formed a group that helped them to develop leadership skills and religious identities. And in 1997, Maya School, a full-time Islamic school for kids from kindergarten to 8th grade, was started. The late 90s also saw a massive wave of immigrants arriving in Southeast Michigan. With this influx, a name change was proposed to mark a new era. The Islamic Center of Detroit became the Islamic Center of America. Other changes were also on the way. The center had already outgrown its capacity and space, so a search for a bigger space began. Luckily, at the time, the YMCA was selling their property off Ford Road in Dearborn. The land was immediately bought, and this was the start of what was to become the largest mosque in North America. In the midst of these happy moments and new beginnings, the community was shaken to its core when it lost its religious leader, Imam Muhammad Jawad Shurri, in 1994. While Imam Shurri had departed from this life, his legacy lived on. Community members carried his vision and continued the growth of the center. After several years of planning, they broke ground. The community then came together and raised the money to build an institution that would answer its new needs.
Every time we come to you, you answer our calls. On behalf of everyone at Islamic Center, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to you and your families for all your commitment tonight. The total for tonight is over $3 million. Thank you.
The ICA became a haven for the community. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people from different backgrounds and faiths walk through its doors. The ICA is the place where many Muslims in the community gather to pray and hold their services, to celebrate together the happiest life events and mourn the saddest moments, to teach their kids Arabic at Saturday school and teach them about their faith through Sunday school. Sunday breakfasts bring many families to share food and laughter and make memories. Religious programs and sermons cater to people of different ages and backgrounds. Senior programs engage local senior citizens with social, fun, and religious activities. Friday prayers draw community members from near and far away from their jobs and busy life for some moments of reflection and connection with their spirituality. The youth programming continue to be central, and through the organization UNI, youth can represent their voices and have a safe space for spiritual, educational, and social awareness. From the work planted by Imam Shurri in the early days, inclusivity and interfaith programming continue to be major pillars in the ICA. And through Maya School, children, the leaders of tomorrow, are provided with strong Islamic foundation and well-rounded education. Women continue to be an essential part of the ICA. Ladies of the ICA work tirelessly to build bridges with other community organizations. They lead weekly bake sales to raise funds for the center and focus on assisting, empowering, and raising awareness on issues within our community. The impact of the ICA goes far beyond its walls. Over the years, it has reached out and provided services to communities locally and globally. The center led relief efforts for Yemen and Lebanon to help provide food and medical supplies. During the last 2 years of the pandemic, the ICA distributed more than 36,000 food boxes to families and administered more than 7,000 vaccines. All these programs and activities have been carried out by a group of very dedicated individuals, the ICA volunteers, who have committed countless hours to the center. This is their second family, a home that holds their dearest memories and that has given them as much as they invest in it. Working together, we look forward to rebuilding Maya School, expanding it to a high school, and adding a needed auditorium. As we celebrate 60 years, we're truly celebrating each of you. You are the heart of the Islamic Center of America. We look to the past with gratitude and pride, and we look to the future with eager anticipation. Together, we have laid the foundation for many generations, and together, we are building for the future.